Seconds.
What is up, my
Hurry,
dudes? We've got the
hurry.
Corporate Esports Association Dota 2 Spring 2019 tournament going on.
Dyer's back.
Today we've got Nvidia representing Nvidia and Facebook mid or Newsfeed representing Facebook. So fair warning, I am playing in this game. This is me, the captain here. But it's going to be a little bit biased maybe.
Radiant's
But this game was long enough ago that I don't really remember what happened. So it'll be a learning experience for both of us. So the point. I'm pretty annoyed by Bounty Hunter, Shadow Shaman, and Oracle. I feel like all three of those heroes are pretty ridiculous right now. So I banned the Bounty Hunter and the Oracle, and I think in this game my teammate was like, "Let's play Shadow Shaman today." So I don't believe I banned Shadow Shaman in this game, and we end up picking it first. So some spoilers ahead. So there's a Monkey King ban from Nvidia. It's a little bit of an odd ban. You usually pick Monkey King in response to an enemy like mid or a offlaner that you can bully pretty hard with the Monkey King. So pretty unusual to see him in the first phase actually.
Dyer's ban.
They banned Silencer. Personally, I don't think Silencer is a very good hero, but our mid player spams Silencer a lot as a mid, just mostly as a troll. So we actually banned Enigma because we're thinking of picking Shadow Shaman. Enigma's a pretty strong hero right now. It's definitely first phaseable. It was kind of a wasted ban in retrospect because it's pretty hard to swing Enigma as the second pick team. The main thing is I saw the Silencer banned out by Nvidia. I'm like, okay, well that's a pretty good Enigma counter. Maybe if they ban another Enigma counter like Rubik or Venge, I'd be pretty convinced that we're going for Enigma. So it's I think that was the rationale behind the ban. And unfortunately, they've got one more ban after this, so I can't because I'm the first pick, I don't get this ban going into the pick phase. So they banned TA, another really odd hero, because normally you want TA to dominate her lane. She does do well in most lanes, but you don't always want to pick her first. But so they pick Invoker first, which Nvidia's actually been doing a lot. They've been opening up with this Warlock Invoker duo in most of the games I've seen of them. 3 out of 4 games now. So banning TA in the first phase makes sense for them. But now you've picked Invoker in the first phase, and Invoker has more counters than just Templar Assassin. There's Bloodseeker, there's Kunkka, there's a lot of heroes that give Invoker a lot of trouble. But they've also got this next ban phase, and I wasn't feeling confident enough to pick our mid right now. At least we're thinking about it, because, Invoker really can only go mid. We pick Razor instead, just because it's more of a flex pick. He can still do pretty well against Invoker as well. But if there's a better lane for the Razor, then we'll pick it. So, the Razor's nice and flexible. That's probably why we've been seeing this hero so much.
Only 10 seconds.
At this point, I'm trying to figure out what their game plan is, right? Because they've got Warlock, who's pretty big on the team fight. It doesn't offer that much lockdown, so that's why we banned the Nyx Assassin. Nyx is a pretty popular hero right now. I think he's pretty ridiculous, the ridiculous amount of HP regen. He also does pretty well against Razor, because you can always spike Carapace that unstable current and then get a free stun afterwards. So just protecting our Razor pick a little bit. And Nvidia is a bit lacking on lockdown right now. Warlock doesn't provide very much. We've got the Chaos Golem stun, but it's 1 second, so it's not really that much. They're banning the Pugna, another hero who does well against Invoker. But overall I do. The first pick Invoker is a bit questionable. Maybe if you're in the first pick position, you could get it here, and there's already 2 heroes on the field. I have 4 heroes to counter this Invoker pick with, whereas if they were first pick and they picked it in the second position, there's only 3 heroes to respond with, and you get 2 immediate bans afterwards. But protecting their Invoker, it seems like Phantomo Lancera is going to be the carry of this team. I haven't seen too many impressive plays from the rest of their team so far, but yeah, they have a really good Invoker player, so makes sense to show their trump card early on. The one risk I would you have with this Nvidia lineup is that you know, in future games, if other teams look at these videos and then they can ban Invoker in the first phase. But I'm pretty sure that if you're an Invoker player, you can play other mids. Invoker is one of the more complex mids, so you should be able to play any other easier hero. So we banned Tidehunter just to make sure that they don't overwhelm us with teamfight. So Invoker and Warlock are already both pretty strong. Obviously the Invoker needs the Aghanim Scepter before he can fight, so it's going to be pretty delayed. But once Invoker gets online, like, there's some scary teamfight coming out of this Invoker and Warlock. So we go for the Tidehunter ban because it fits pretty well with like how they want to play right now. This is one of those things that picking Razor in the first phase is really good for, since he can go to all three lanes. It's kind of hard to figure out who you want to ban, right? Because you can't just like assume the lanes anymore and then oh hey, like, you know, in this last phase usually it'll be a situation where like, oh, they only have the mid left to pick, so we're always going to ban a mid, but the Razor makes it less obvious. So they banned the Viper, which is another good hero against Invoker. Probably not as good as like the previous ones banned, the TA and the Pugna. So they go with the Sven. So gonna double down on that team fight a little bit with the Warcry, just buffing up his entire team. But it's not as good as it used to be. And if this is a position 1 Sven, then you usually don't want to put that many points into Warcry early on, much less want to fight early on. So it's potential for a position 3 Sven. Position 1 Sven is really greedy, and they already have Invoker who's quite greedy himself. So maybe just gonna see that offlane Sven build an early Vlads and group up and push. But you know, there's always a possibility of position 1 Sven. I believe I'm gonna pick Winter Wyvern here. Probably shouldn't spoil this game too much.
Radiant team are now picking.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense against Sven. He, you know, it's mostly physical damage. If you can have your position 5 support counter then a position 1 carry, then it's pretty brutal. So I don't remember what Nvidia picks, but for them, if the Sven is the offlaner, he's kind of a hard initiator, right? Like, you need to get a blink first, but usually you want to buy the Vlads before anything else, just to group up a bit earlier. So Nvidia is kind of lacking initiation. They're gonna go with Nature's Prophet, which is another interesting choice. Bit of a flex pick. Not really sure if at this point it's looking like the Sven is the offlaner, and Nature's Prophet is another hero who mostly does physical damage, other than the Wrath of Nature, so you're gonna get countered by Wyvern pretty hard, but it's a natural Orchid builder as well, so you know, it's some back and forth there.
10 seconds.
So it's usually the case that you would see the offlane Prophet in the position 1 Sven, because Prophet, he doesn't do well with farm. So we pick the Bloodseeker now to counter the Invoker, and this is a pretty easy lane for Bloodseeker, to be honest. So just to make sure they couldn't ban it out in this phase here, we pick it first, and we also have like the next 2 picks, so we don't have to worry about getting quote-unquote counter-picked.
10 seconds to pick.
Oh, obviously they have Nvidia have the final pick. The other thing is the Nature's Prophet could be position 4, but that's also super duper greedy. And if they have already had the Invoker, and if Sven is position 1, that's just it's a little bit too much greed. But then now the problem comes with Nvidia's lineup, where they don't have anyone to initiate with. I mean, maybe when Sven gets a blink, but that's even after you get blink on Sven, you don't want to show up to fight straight away. You want to get that BKB as well, just for the God Strength spell immunity. It feels really good. But I will say Sven is a pretty nice response to Razor, because Razor takes time to slowly drain your damage. Sven has like plus 400 damage. It's like, oh, I don't even care if you steal it, because he's still gonna hit for like 250. So at this point where I kind of remember what we were talking about, we're trying to figure out where Razor's gonna go, if he's gonna be the safe laner or our off laner. Because he can do either. Bloodseeker we picked to counter the Invoker mid, so that's already set in stone. So we can go for like a more greedy lineup, or we can go to end this early with a more aggressive hero. So they banned the Doom, thinking this Razor's a safe laner. It's a pretty reasonable ban. I feel like all the eggs are in this Invoker's basket, that's why they picked him first, and if he gets doomed, that's pretty problematic. Also, Doom against like Nature's Prophet and Sven still pretty good, even though the Sven doesn't care that much about being doomed. If he can get the BKB off first, it's probably not the biggest deal to doom him.
Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Can't even remember why we banned Drow Razor, but we picked Axe, so looking for a more aggressive hero. Also, we need a hero who can initiate to round up our lineup. Something that Nvidia is also missing, because we do have Rupture to start fights, I guess. It's a little bit janky. So having a Blink Initiator, and also this does really well against the Nature's Prophet if he's the laner. We can always try and change the lane so Axe goes up against Nature's Prophet. One of the few heroes that doesn't actually care about Nature's Prophet. So they're gonna go for Gyrocopter, another very greedy hero, and this looks like it's going to be the Sven off lane and the position for Nature's Prophet. So 4 very, very greedy heroes. Even the Warlock is pretty greedy. Definitely wants to get some of that farm for himself. Maybe a Glimmer Cape just to stay alive. Because it's looking pretty hard for Nvidia to get into the game. They need to just have like a no fight 30 rule. And if they can survive till 30 minutes and not be too far behind, then they have a chance at this game. But it seems pretty unlikely with the current draft. Axe and Bloodseeker very great in the early mid game. So is Razor. So we've got 3 cores on the side of Facebook that they go online pretty early. Whereas like Nvidia, what do they need? The Gyrocopter needs like BKB at least, and maybe this BKB is not even going to help that much, because if you get static linked before, it doesn't cancel during the static link. Bloodseeker doesn't care with Rupture, Axe doesn't care with Taunt, and Winter Wyvern doesn't care with Winter's Curse. So like what's it gonna take for this Gyrocopter to be able to fight? Maybe a Butterfly, but that's Butterfly Satanic, maybe even a Rapier. There's a reason we don't see Gyrocopter anymore. So let's hop into the game. The Sven spammer and the Nature's Prophet spammer. Good stuff. So let's introduce the teams. On the side of Nvidia, we got Bunter on the Warlock, Cracklenaut on the Gyrocopter, Virgil Fan in the Barber on the Sven, Fanthermo Lancera on the Invoker, and Timson H. Huang on the Nature's Prophet. The side of Facebook, there's an early tip coming out from the Axe to the Bloodseeker. So we've got myself on the Winter Wyvern. We've got GH on the Axe, and I can confirm this is not the real GH, at least the pro player GH. We got Maybe plus CCY on the Bloodseeker, ABC on the Shadow Shaman, and Rockhawk on the Razor. So going to be that position 1 Razor. The flex pick made this happen. So I'm gonna walk up the cliff here just to scout out where they are. I'm pretty sure they can't kill me even if they wanted to, because I can always like fly over the trees like this. So it's pretty safe for me to do it. And now the Gyrocopter and the Warlock both in a little bit of trouble. There's 3 heroes down here for an early kill. Warlock will get turned around on, and Warlock will eventually go down. So first blood for GH, and great early start for him. And actually skilling Fatal Bonds at level 1 is usually not what you want to do. Fatal Bonds doesn't really do much at level 1. You always want that Shadow Word instead. You can heal and harass with it. So now this Warlock can get bullied pretty hard in the lane. We'll see if Shadow Shaman is going to look to stay, because Axe definitely wants his levels. Might just TP to the top. Actually, ABC, he's going to run into the Gyrocopter. A flat cannon comes out onto the Shadow Shaman, gets shackled, and then he's in a lot of trouble. Arctic Breath comes out, and the Gyrocopter, he's so close to dying, just 1 hit away, but isn't going to be able to take him out. But now he's going to be forced to burn a lot of regen. There's no Shadow Word on the Warlock, and he doesn't have a salve, so it's going to be pretty hard for this Gyrocopter to lane for a little while. You just get Battle Hunger spam, the level 1 Battle Hunger by the Axe as well. Warlock going to be able to quickly dispel it with the last hit, so that's pretty fortunate for him. This is why I think Axe is still a pretty good hero. This Battle Hunger is such a great skill to push the supports out of the lane. So mid lane, it's going to be this Bloodseeker versus Invoker, and it's pretty tough for the Invoker because Bloodseeker has way more base damage. He can sustain against Invoker's right clicks as well, which is something that melee heroes kind of have a hard time. Invoker does hit pretty hard if he goes for Exalt, which it looks like the case for this Invoker. ABC just stalking the trees, maybe looking for a courier snipe. The checks the Invoker's items. See, he has actually a lot of items, so maybe not looking to use a courier anytime soon. See what ABC is trying to look to do. Meanwhile, it's Rawkhawk at the top, 2v1ing against the Nature's Prophet and the Sven, but there's not too much they can do here. You can always just steal the Sven's damage as the Sven comes in. And then it's just Nature's Prophet versus this. So we're gonna see a stun onto Rawkhawk. Meanwhile, a kill on bottom lane. GH managed to get the kill on Kragglenaut, and now the Sven's gonna die under the tower. He's gonna feed his life away to the Razor. So a very easy kill for the Razor. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Warlock's still level 1, so he's not gonna be able to heal his carry very much. And now getting bullied out of the lane by the Battle Hunger. Some normal Axe stuff. Warlock gonna drop a ward to spot the Winter Wyvern. Alright, so Warlock finally hits level 2, and it's been a pretty rough raid for him to get there. And another Battle Hunger onto the Warlock. Axe is just running forward and spinning it. Actually 2 points in the Battle Hunger. Not something that we see too often, but looking to win the lane instead of get farmed. It's always a trade-off you want to make. So another Arctic Burn comes out from the Winter Wyvern. Myself. This skill is so ridiculous. Like, I just chipped away at like 2/5 of this Warlock's HP with like 3 hits. This Gyrocopter also forced to get Shadow Worded, and Sven's headed bot now with an Arcane Rune, interestingly enough. Arctic Splinter Blast comes out onto the Gyrocopter. Where's Sven? Sven finally drops a Stormbolt, and we'll be able to disengage. Gyrocopter forced to salve up now. And it's going to be 3v2 in this bot lane going forward. Although Sven, I'm not really sure where he's going. He's decided to lead the lane. Still level 1. Meanwhile, the Razor and the Shadow Shaman together will be able to get a kill on Nature's Prophet. And this mid lane, already a full level advantage for the Bloodseeker, or half a level advantage. And looks like it's only going to snowball from there. The Arctic Burn and the Battle Hunger, great for getting some chip damage on the enemy heroes, and then buffing up this Bloodseeker with a Thirst. It's going to make this lane even harder for Invoker once the other heroes down bot get low enough. This Gyrocopter is going to go down to the Battle Hunger. The 2 points in the Battle Hunger working out, probably wouldn't have been able to get the kill. There's actually a stack here. I remember this now. We were talking about how like Axe should take the stack, but he only had 1 point in spin. It's going to be pretty tough for him to take it. But we can always just cold embrace the Axe, and then oh, actually, casual good game comes out from GH. Yeah, so you can like cold embrace the Axe, and then he can farm the stack without taking any damage. But Yeah, it's a pretty cool combo. Not one you see too often, because you normally see Winter Wyvern in the off lane. The Warlock gets out by the skin of his teeth thanks to the Shadow Word heal. And the Gyrocopter getting dived again. And he's in a lot of trouble. It's gonna go down. GH already dominating. He's got a Salve to heal up as well. Mid lane, Bloodseeker, now a full level ahead of the Invoker. It's 26 to 15 compared to 10 to 2. So looking pretty rough for the Invoker so far. And gonna get 4 bounty runes as well for the side of Facebook. A nice early start. And already 4k gold ahead actually, so yeah, I didn't even realize we were this far ahead early on, because I was really only paying attention to this bot lane. We know we like shut down the Gyrocopter pretty hard. I didn't realize that Nature's Prophet and the Invoker were also getting trashed on so much. So this game looking pretty grim already for the side of Nvidia.
Axe defies you.
Another Battle Hunger, so the Gyrocopter gets pushed away from the creep wave as well, so we'll have to take the full brunt of this Battle Hunger. And a Splinter Blast onto the Sven. Sven's getting pretty low, gets spun again by the range creep, and the Sven will go down. Meanwhile, Bloodseeker is level 6 now, so this Invoker is going to be in a lot of trouble. Hopefully he has a TP, but no, there's no one there to cancel the TPs right now. Nature's Prophet gonna go for a quick hand of Midas. This is not really what you want to see when your team is very far behind. I'm sure you can just like look at the scoreboard. The scoreboard is not always representative of how the game is going, but 7 to 1 is pretty rough. 6 minutes in, Nature's Prophet might go down again. No points in Hex from the Shadow Shaman yet, so we'll be able to make it out. But yeah, I mean, if your team's behind, don't go for a Midas, because you're gonna need to make something happen as the offlaner. It's kind of your job to get people back into the game if you're behind as the offlaner. But usually you pick heroes that have that ability, even if they are falling behind. Nature's Prophet has TP'd bot now, and actually Cold Embrace will come out, and the Sunstrike will hit the Axe, and Axe is gonna get pretty low here. Looks like he's gonna go down. And Mega Kill Streak going the way of the Sven. Probably not the hero you wanted it on, but might be able to get a fast blink with that. Sorry, 600 gold towards the blink, if that's what he decides to go for. And I think that makes a lot of sense. You need someone on your team to initiate for you. Meanwhile, the Bloodseeker just... Did he get a kill? No, he just forced the Invoker to TP home with the Rupture. So that's kind of like what happens when you go up against Bloodseeker. It's one of those unfortunate truths. So now all 3 heroes, there's 2 supports and Axe down here for the side of Facebook. Sven will just get picked up on the side. You know, the Winter Wyvern will slowly get chipped away by the Gyrocopter. So a 1-for-1 support trade. Does favor the losing team a little bit. 205 for the Sven kill, whereas I gave away 244 gold, but it's still not that much. Shadow Shaman gonna pick up a haste rune now, see what he looks to do with it. Oh, I wanted to follow him. There you go. Alright, gonna get a Shackles onto the Gyrocopter, and he's looking pretty doomed. So gonna get dunked as well. Meanwhile, this Bloodseeker's level 8 against the level 5 Invoker, so looking extremely rough for this Invoker. He had to get a good start as well, because he's kind of like the star player for his team. So in the other games I've seen from Nvidia, you know, if their mid gets this Phantomo Lancera gets off to a good start, he does carry his team. But it's looking pretty rough, this Invoker versus Bloodseeker. And this is really the problem with picking Invoker this early on. So, Gyrocopter still level 5. Although, I'm not that much higher leveled either, I'm only level 4. Shadow Shaman is also level 4, so this Razor also having a pretty free time up here. Level 7 now. Gonna go for an early Drums. So looking to be aggressive, group up early. Once this axe gets blink, should be able to get tower after tower. Not much pushing on the side of Facebook though. There's the serpent wards, which was good for one tower, but doesn't work for other towers. So Razor will probably look to buy an Axe, makes a lot of sense. Shackles onto the Gyrocopter. He's pretty deep, so it's going to be pretty hard to get a kill. Meanwhile, the Gyrocopter will go down to the Winter Wyvern. And the Sven getting chased down. Got the Bloodseeker vision to help with the chase. And Nature's Prophet is here now as well. He's in a lot of trouble. He gets shackled up. There's going to be a call from the Axe as well. And another duck. No, the Nature's Prophet will be able to sprout the Axe, and looks like he'll get away here. And he just TP's out. So good stuff from the Nature's Prophet. Sunstrike on the Axe, but it's only a level 3 Sunstrike, so not going to be that much damage. Probably feeling the brunt of that Bloodseeker there. Bloodseeker gonna go for an early Shadow Blade. Let's get those surprise ruptures on the enemy. So Axe is halfway to the blink now, has a Vanguard as well, so this is one of those games where you see the 6k net worth Axe like 13 minutes in, he has a Blink Dagger and Vanguard. It's just looking to dominate the game. But I've also stated in previous videos, sometimes you end up falling flat. So you're gonna see another Battle Hunger with some Arctic Burn Harass on the Warlock. Gonna be a nice cold down plus Nature's Prophet ulti there. Gonna get the Winter Wyvern and the Shadow Shaman pretty low. Gyrocopter will be able to get the 2 kills on the support. The Axe does end up taking out the Warlock. Just gonna smack this courier around a bit. Won't be able to get the kill because he doesn't have blink yet. And it's gonna cut the wave, so it's gonna be even harder for this Gyrocopter to last hit on the tower. Bloodseeker showed up, but the action was already over. Drums now completed on the Razor, so maybe looking to fight soon. He's just been farming away with that max unstable current build. Actually, no points in Eye in the Storm yet, so not looking to fight, I guess. At least, like, not looking to run at the enemy yet. Nature's Prophet will TP bot, sprouts the Axe, but Axe has a Quelling Blade. Gets stunned by the Storm Bolt, and he looks like he's in some trouble. The Gyrocopter's completely out of mana, and he's 10 more mana for the Rocket Barrage. It's going to be pretty hard for this Gyrocopter to get anything done. Hex onto the Gyrocopter. Is he going to get shackled? He gets Ward Trapped, actually. But the Gyrocopter will be able to break his way out of the tree, so the Shadow Shaman looks like he's in a lot of trouble. Cold Embrace, at least, will save him for the time being. Meanwhile, the Gyrocopter just getting chased, and the Bloodseeker's here now. So the Bloodseeker's gonna rupture the Nature's Prophet and gonna take out the Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet goes down to the wards. Actually, he gets taken out by the Bloodseeker. And Razor's also down here now. Finally puts a point in Eye of the Storm, and he wants to fight. He's got his drums now as well. So gonna have Team Facebook group up. Axe also has money for a blink if he wants to get it. Nowhere near a shop right now. The courier is pretty far away from home. So Bloodseeker revealing that Shadow Blade, just showing up to the fight and rupturing the Nature's Prophet. So Gyrocopter gonna go for his own drums, but it's gonna be a while before he gets it. Phase drums is pretty normal on Gyro. Makes a lot of sense. He needs the early stats. But he's gonna need a lot more items if he wants to fight. Already a 9k gold advantage for Team Facebook. The Razor gonna go on the Warlock now. Blink now revealed on the Axe. Gonna go on the Warlock. Gets the dunk, and we'll be able to run out of the second hit of cooldown. You know, the Nature's Prophet, he's in a bit of trouble. There's nothing to cancel the TP right now for Nature's Prophet. Dodges the silence as well. A 2-man blink call by the Axe, and Nature's Prophet will end up going down. Razor in a bit of trouble, gets Cold Embrace. The Sunstrike will come out, but it's only a level 4 Sunstrike, so it's not going to be enough damage. Meanwhile, the Gyrocopter, he's surrounded. He's gonna go for the Razor, but Razor will make it up with 20 HP left. Very close for him. The Chaos Golem goes down. The Axe is in a bit of trouble. The Winter's Curse onto the Gyrocopter, getting pretty low. I remember not being able to get this kill. I was pretty salty about it. Meanwhile, the Bloodseeker's here now with a double damage room, but it looks like it's time to run. Everyone who's on low HP has already died. This is pretty slowed down. Actually, Bloodseeker will end up feeding his life or get sprouted and sunstriked as well. So kind of a disaster for Facebook there. They didn't get anyone, I believe. They got the Nature's Prophet, but actually a 2k gold swing going the way of Nvidia. It's kind of what they need to do to come back to the game. Just but we kind of overextended there, so it won't. You can't always rely on that to happen. Invoker not going for a Midas. I like this much more because he just needs to get into the fights, and once he gets the axe, he's ready to fight. I don't really need that many more items on the Invoker to participate in team fights.
Radiant's middle tower is taking
the War Trap not going to be able to take the Warlock out, so he will manage to snatch the Bounty Rune in front of the Shadow Shaman. So I bet Shadow Shaman regretting that one a little bit, trying to be fancy and grab a solo kill. Meanwhile, Bloodseeker gonna go on the Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet in a lot of trouble, not gonna be able to sprout himself to safety. And Bloodseeker's lost a lot of his move and attack speed, so because he killed the Nature's Prophet. Not gonna be able to chase for anymore. Shadow Shaman has another pair of boots for some reason. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Warlock will finally be able to pick up his energy booster for the arcane boots. That feels pretty bad. 16 minutes, I've definitely had worse than 16 minutes before. His games just end before you even have a chance. Wyvern and Warlock will just bump into each other and then walk away. A gentleman's agreement, although Bonta just stabbed me in the back, so not too happy with him. And yeah, the double boots from Shadow Shaman, here we go. The bonus move speed, the bonus regeneration from Tranquil boots, plus the arcane boots. So gonna be active on the map the whole time. I haven't really asked ABC what this is about. I'm a little bit confused as well. I didn't even notice this during the game. So another Battle Hugger will get immediately dispelled by the Nature's Prophet. The Shadow Shaman in a lot of trouble will get taken down by the Meatball. Meanwhile, the Razor, he's going for an S and Y. Maybe pick up the Axe next. It's gonna tank up a bit, run a bit faster, so you can run at people a little bit harder. Do Razor things. Another S and Y for Bloodseeker as well. Actually, Nature's Prophet will be able to get the Courier. Gonna sprout the Bloodseeker, but he's in a lot of trouble. Does he get spotted? He finally gets called, actually. They kind of knew he was still there, because didn't see him sprout. But interesting that they weren't able to see him. That was kind of weird. So Razor, he's by himself, but will he be able to get taken out? The Sven is going to go for a stun, but he gets static linked first. So I mean, it's just the two supports here, so they can't really do anything against this Razor. Already 45 damage stolen from this support Sven. It's not going to hit too hard. Gonna run forward for the Razor now. Rupture onto the Invoker. His Invoker's gonna go down pretty quickly here. The call down from the Gyrocopter comes down onto two heroes, but gets blink called by the Axe and pretty quickly taken out here. Meanwhile, the Shackles onto the Warlock will cause him a lot of grief. And a triple kill for Rockhawk. Has money for the S and Y now, but there's no Courier because Nature's Prophet sniped it.
Radiant's middle tower is taking damage.
Ward's dropped in the mid lane, and Facebook also taking the top lane with a Razor Bloodseeker. So you're gonna get most of the outer towers. Yeah, they should be able to get this tower with just the wards alone. Another Ether Shock and Splinter Blast will finish off the creep wave so they can focus the tower.
Dire's bottom tower under fire.
Right, and Invoker walks a bit far forward, takes a couple hits from the Razor, but nothing too bad.
No more middle tower for Radiant.
And looks like the signal for bot lane has happened. It's a pretty easy game plan for us from this point. We just need to take the outer towers, take Roche, go high ground. The usual stuff when you're 13k gold ahead at 19 minutes. Sven actually picked up a Morbid Mask, so probably gonna go for a Vlad's for his team, but it's not that great. I feel like the Blink would be the way to go. They just need someone to start the fight. It's gonna look pretty rough for them for a while, even if they start the fights, unless they catch people out. Vintage gets sprouted, but you know, the Arctic Burn goes over it, so easy money, boys.
Radiant's bottom tower under fire.
Axe go for a cloak, so hood. Gonna try and protect against the magic damage from the rocket barrage, the cooldown, and the Nature's Prophet ulti, even the invoker spells. Gonna be 4 bounty runes going again the way of Facebook, just extending that gold lead a little bit.
Radiant's bottom tower is demolished.
DD at bot now, but DD doesn't really serve anyone on our team very well.
Double damage.
So Blink Dagger, I picked up by me. Yeah, I had a lot of money. I was like, well, what can I do with it that's effective? I could buy a Glimmer Cape for a similar price, or a 4-staff, but just having that Blink Winter's Curse is it's a pretty effective at starting fights. Maybe I can get a free pick off. And Shadow Shaman looks like he also got his Blink delivered on the courier now. A couple S and Ys come out. The Crimson Guard and the Hood finished on the Axe as well. So going to be pretty hard to take out the side of Facebook now. And Razor should probably go for an Axe at this point, just to help his team push towers, because really what they're lacking right now is tower push. Facebook not actually gonna go for the Roche. I can't remember what the call for this one was. I think we just smoked forward to try and get some wards down. Nature's Prophet, doing Nature's Prophet stuff, just split pushing a little bit. It's gotta go for a fast Orchid. Don't really know how effective that item is against the side of Facebook. Like, no one really cares too much about being silenced. Maybe the Shadow Shaman and the Winter's Wyvern, but the Axe and the Razor don't really care. The Bloodseeker probably doesn't care too much either. But I guess, like, if I wanted to itemize on the Nature's Prophet a little bit better, maybe some utility item like a pipe, or no, that's not really the right one. But you kind of need to like help your team tank up a little bit, right? Even Greaves would be pretty great on the Nature's Prophet right now. But the Orchid, it can probably help you secure like 1 kill, but it's not going to help you in the team fights. And they have pretty good team fight. They've got the Gyrocopter, the Warlock ulti, and Invoker's close to an Ag, so really if you double down on the team fight, you might have a chance of coming back at this point. If you can take 1 good high ground defense with the Invoker, get like a 2 or 3 man tornado, and then just really turn it around. And I think Nvidia definitely have a shot to come back into this. So the Nature's Prophet going for this like greedy like Midas Orchid build, even into a Shadow Blade. It's kind of weird, right? Because your team is so good at the team fight that like, and you're going for these solo pick-off builds that, yeah, I guess is more common on Nature's Prophet, but at the same time, it's not really what your team needs right now. Gonna see Ags on the Razor. It makes a lot of sense just to get that extra building damage. I see a scan from the Radiant, gonna show that they're in Roche, but I'm not sure if they're gonna be able to contest this. Invoker is now done with the Ags. It's gonna be Bloodseeker taking the Aegis. It makes some sense because the other two are much tankier. Bloodseeker tends to just want to run in pretty aggressively with the once one hero gets low with a pretty high move speed from Thirst. Gyrocopter will just barely make it out, but gonna have a blink call on the Warlock. And this is a pretty big kill for Facebook because it's 30 seconds without the Warlock. That's a long time where they don't have that much team fight. Meanwhile, the Razor and the Winter Wiper just pushing at top, kind of get dewatered straight away actually, so that feels pretty bad. And this Razor has Ags now, so he has turned on the Eye of the Storm. The Invoker combo is going to miss a little bit. I used the Winter's Curse to try and buy some time so the Razor doesn't get comboed, but we don't have any detection. Or at least I have sentries, but it's kind of hard to put them down that deep. Invoker will finally go down. The Sven pops his God Strength, but it's not going to do a whole lot. And now 2 down on the side of Nvidia. The Chaos Golem will eventually get dropped, but the Invoker's down, so there's not much follow-up. Invoker's really their strongest hero right now. Gyrocopter's not quite ready to fight, but the Fatal Bonds will do a lot of damage to the side of Facebook. 3 heroes Fatal Bonded together. Nature's Prophet TP's pretty aggressively, but isn't able to get the kill on Bloodseeker, so very unfortunate for him. And he had the Aegis anyway, so it probably wasn't that worth it. And I don't know why the Axe went in. I remember at this point we were like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. But this Axe, GH, just like blinked back in. We're gonna go for the tower now because Razor's decided to come back. The buyback from Nature's Prophet will force the retreat from Facebook. And we managed to get the tower, so we can get the shrines now as well. Actually, Axe wants to go back in. I remember yelling at him over this one. And it's like, it's okay. Now it's time to sound the retreat. Everyone from the side of Facebook, very low, but just not having the full team alive for the last about minute and a half was pretty horrible for Nvidia, especially a team that's very reliant on the Wombo combo.
Don't mind if I do.
A lot of money on the side of Facebook now. 24k gold ahead. Definitely that 1k gold per minute mark that people say is just not really winnable anymore. Dota Plus agrees. I remember just taking out this shrine by myself. It took quite some time. I don't really have much else to do in this map because I already have a Blink Dagger. All our lanes are pushing in, so there's not much left for me to do. So Gyrocopter going for an S and White, not really going to help him fight too much. Maybe a BKB would have been nice, just to get away from the shackles and the Splinter Blast slow. Shadow Shaman gonna go for his own axe, just to make things harder for the side of Nvidia. I mean, this is like what happens when you have Shadow Shaman in a winning position. It's like the game just feels so impossible against Shadow Shaman when you're behind, and like you're trying to defend bases. They don't have anyone with like really long range, no snipers or leaners or anything like that, and it's just the wards feel so difficult to take out. Especially if you overcommit, you can just get blink hold, you can get ruptured. It's pretty rough. I remember doing this. Blinked in pretty aggressively, looking for a Winter's Curse, but I couldn't find one, and I ended up getting ward trapped. The Arctic Burn will help me get out. Razor not turning on the Eye of the Storm yet. Thinks that he probably doesn't need it. Wards do take it out eventually. Eye of the Storm will finally come out. And got a nice Winter's Curse. Invoker doesn't have buyback because he just bought it out his Ags. And this game looking pretty over for the side of Nvidia. Already four heroes down now, and yeah, this game's pretty much over. Godlike for Rawkhawk. So GG's call. And honestly, I didn't hate the draft too much from Nvidia. They played it as well as they could with a first pick Invoker, but no, you just get counter picked, and it happens when you pick Invoker first. The Nature's Prophet itemization probably could have been a little bit better as well.